First of all, thank you to AOHR for this opportunity, and thank you to Dr. Saeed, a very powerful and very disturbing situation. His courage and the great courage of all the people, all the Palestinians in this awful situation, need to be acknowledged, and we need to support as best we can. So I thank AOHR for giving me the opportunity in a small way to show my support. It does seem to me that there will be a reckoning once this awful war has ended. There will be a reckoning for Washington, for its unqualified support for the Israeli genocide here in London, where I'm speaking to you from. There will be a reckoning. There will be a reckoning in the global north, I think, because of the hypocrisy that we have seen, that atrocities committed by Putin were immediately decried and condemned. Atrocities committed by the IDF are ignored and indeed oftentimes encouraged. Of course, Netanyahu will face a reckoning, and I do think that there will be questions about the decisions that Hamas made. The targeting of civilians, in particular, gave Netanyahu a certain degree of cover. Um, all of these things will need to be examined once the war is over, and of course, the ICJ will need to pursue a very important case against the Israelis, and that will be watched, I think, by the world very, very closely. I did, if I might, though, focus my comments this afternoon on the leaders of the Arab states, not the people. I want to make that distinction very clear. The people in the Arab states have universally supported and backed the Palestinians. The leadership, with the exception of Qatar, I have to say, has been very, very disappointing. Powerful Arab states such as Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, I think of those two in particular, Egypt to a certain extent, they have taken positions that really have facilitated and made rather easy the objectives of the Netanyahu regime to carry out this genocide. I think that had there been a stronger response from the leaders of these countries, for example, if the UAE had withdrawn its ambassador, as Turkey did, as Jordan did, if the Bahrainis had followed suit, if the Saudis have not been so concerned about normalization that they have really soft pedaled, had there been more strong condemnation from very early on of the attacks that the Israelis, the IDF, were carrying out, had there been a decision to withdraw ambassadors, for example, had there been a decision to use the powerful economic clout that these states, particularly the Saudis and the Emiratis, have against Israel, then we may not be where we are today. And I do think that Qatar has played a very important role. But the Qatar Prime Minister and Foreign Secretary at the Munich Security Conference asked the question, which has not been answered. If we do not help, and he meant by that the Arab states, if we do not help the citizens of Palestine and of Gaza, what will we say to our citizens when this war ended? So I do think that whilst we focus on the hypocrisies, the strategic decisions by Washington, by London, we need also to look at what the Arab states can do still and the kind of impact they could still have to force Netanyahu and this, frankly, fascist regime that is in power, to force them to back down. It's very, very disheartening, discouraging that so little strong denunciation, very clear statements of economic and diplomatic impact are not being made. Threats, if you will, to Netanyahu, to the Israelis, that there are consequences for these horrible actions that they're carrying out in Gaza and in the West Bank. We mustn't forget the West Bank as well, where more than 300 people have been killed by the IDF and by settler vigilantes armed by Ben-Gvir, the national security minister. So I will leave it there. And as I say, we do want to make the distinction, though, between the leaders of most of the Arab states and the people. The people of the Arab states clearly support and back the Palestinians. It's their leadership that has questions, that will have questions to answer when this awful war finally ends. Thank you.